All right, Padres pregame thoughts. Padres and the Philadelphia Phillies, the final game of this series. The Padres, they have obviously already lost this series, so they're trying to avoid getting swept. And it might be tough. Taijuan Walker on the mound for the Phillies. I don't really know what to expect from him, to be honest. He's shown spurts of, man, electric arm, really good pitcher. But then there's also been some times that it hasn't been that same pitcher. He's coming off of the IL, I believe, today to make this start, and we'll see what can happen by this Padres lineup. This Padres lineup, it is different, and Padres fans have been waiting. I have been waiting for Xander Bogaerts to not be in the leadoff spot. I think that Xander still has talent. I'm not saying that he is washed. We still got, 9 more years of this guy. I still believe in the talent. Like, it's there, obviously. He knows how to hit. But him being in the leadoff spot right now, and for the last, couple weeks, to be honest, few weeks maybe. Yeah, a couple weeks actually. I just don't think that's the best thing for this Padres team. I think you need someone like Jurickson Profar. That's not a name I brought up, but I was thinking more Ha-Seong Kim or Jackson Merrill. I would have loved to see Jackson Merrill in that leadoff spot. Lefty bat, the approach. It doesn't seem like him being on the leadoff spot would like put too much pressure on him. He already puts pressure on himself because he has that high standard and he cares about winning so much, and he's that team player, right? So I thought the leadoff spot would have been good for Jackson Merrill. But with Xander not hitting the ball hard, and he's doing a little bit better as of late, but obviously you look at the numbers, the average, the OPS at 567. I mean, look at all the OPSs in this lineup, except Graham Pauley because he hasn't gotten consistent at bats. And Kyle Gashioka, we know that he is not a bat first catcher, right? That's Campy, not Higgy. But everyone else, 851, 771, 751, 711, 762, 746. And then you see Xander Bogaerts in the middle of that, and you're like, one of these things is not like the other. One of these OPS is just, it sticks out in a bad way, right? So Xander, I mean, like Eric Hosmer, he was on my show, obviously. Hopefully people were able to catch that either on the podcast platforms or on YouTube. If you have not, I encourage you to go listen or watch that conversation. I think that Eric was great, accountable, and he was talking about Xander's struggles, and he wants Padres fans to give it time because, like Xander Bogaerts, he has the track record. Um, Now, I think I gave, for example, Eric Hosmer time, but then it was just apparent that it just wasn't working out and he wasn't helping this team. And Xander Bogaerts, I like this is the second year for Xander, right? And we're still in, it's April 28th, so we're like a month in about, right? More than a month for the Padres, but we're about a month plus in, right? Of the second year for Xander. I'm not going to give up on Xander this season, like saying that, oh, he's not going to be able to help the Padres go win a World Series, because I see that track record. He cares. Like, that's not something I have to worry about. But what Padres fans care about is, what is this guy doing right now? What are you doing for me lately? And lately, I mean, just look at the average, look at the OPS, and not every fan is going to go do a deep dive into, is he hitting the ball hard? Is he not? Where is he hitting the ball? Is he swinging at pitches outside the strike zone, inside the strike zone? Is he taking advantage of mistakes? Is there something going on? We're going to look at some fans' average OPS. And average does not tell the story about everything, right? But the OPS is probably the best offensive stat, right? At least if you could go to one stat. OPS plus maybe, because that's, I believe, ballpark adjusted or league adjusted. And it gives you like, okay, what is league average? 100. Where is this player in terms of league average? Where OPS, that's just the number. But I think baseball fans know that 567, that's not a good OPS. And for that person to be leading off, I mean, I want someone that's going to get on base more consistently, at least at the moment. And Jurickson Profar qualifies under that. He is one of the Padres' best hitters this season. In fact, he has the best OPS among qualified Padres hitters this year. So giving him as many at bats as possible, I am all for that. He puts together good at bats. He, to use the Jace Tingler B word, he battles. He wants to win. Obviously, I'm not saying Definitely not saying Xander doesn't. I know that he does. He cares. He's accountable. Like, it's nothing against him personally. I know that he cares. He wants to win. He tries. But just right now, it's a production-based business. Are you producing at the level you should be for that leadoff spot? And the answer right now for me is no. And I think that Mike Schultz should have come to that realization a couple weeks ago, a week ago, but he believed, just like he believes in all of his players, he believed in Xander. And today, he doesn't speak to the media before a day game after a night game. So we'll see what he says about this move post game. But he's probably going to say, well, right hander on the mound, Jurickson Profar, he's been one of our best hitters. We like this matchup. It allows us to go left, right out of the gate. And then you have Bogaerts as a 5 who can put the ball, he'll probably say to Bogaerts, he can put the ball in play. He's smart situationally, so guys on base in front of him. And then you got Merrill coming in behind him. So that's probably how Schilt will explain it. But just like bottom line, I think this was no doubt the right move. And now Mr. Relevant, as you can see from my shirt here from Breaking Tea, Mr. Relevant, he is leading off, and we'll see how Jurickson's going to do. I don't know if Jurickson's going to be leading off every day. Maybe it's going to be Fernando at some point. I think they like Fernando in that 2 spot. I like that as well. Maybe it's Merrill at some point. Maybe they go Ha-Sung Kim when a lefty's on the mound. I know Profar switch, but they go Profar when a righty's on the mound, and then they go with Kim when a lefty's on the mound. Maybe that's what they do. I don't know. I'd like to see Jackson Merrill in that leadoff spot. If like Profar doesn't work out, maybe they go to Ha-Sung Kim. If that doesn't work out, um, I'm a huge believer in Jackson Merrill. He's already up at the big leagues. I don't believe in rushing him to the leadoff spot. No, I think he's okay with it. I don't think he's going to view it as, oh man, lead off a bunch of pressure on me. Again, like I said, he puts pressure on himself already, which is great because he has that high standard and he wants to win. He wants to contribute to his team winning. And even if he contributed, but the team didn't win, he doesn't like what happened in that game. So we'll see. But that's the lineup. Profar, Tatis, Cronenworth, Manny, Bogaerts, Merrill, Kim. I like to see Paulie in there DHing against a righty, and then Higgy will be catching for Michael King, who obviously, if we remember his last outing in Colorado, he was doing well, and then it kind of fell apart there. I believe that was the Brendan Rodgers Grand Slam game. And so hopefully Michael King can bounce back. It's a Phillies lineup, though. This is better than the Rockies lineup. So it's going to be interesting. Obviously, we saw the first 2 games of this series. The starting pitching has not been good enough with Musgrove and with Cease yesterday. Cease with his worst outing of the year. So hopefully Michael King is not about to have his worst outing of the year. I guess you could say his last outing was the worst outing of the year. So putting together back-to-back bad outings, that would not be great. And you just want to avoid a sweep, right? You don't want to get swept at all ever in a baseball season because that you're just digging yourself that hole. It's one thing if, you look at your record to start a 3-game set and you lose the series. Well, you lost 1 game, right? Because you win 1, lose 1, those cancel out, but you lost 1, so you're down 1, if that makes sense, right? In comparison to where your record was. If you get swept, you're down 3. So, like, there's differences there. And the Phillies, they may not win their division with the Braves there. So the Padres and Phillies may be fighting for a playoff spot later this season. So these games, they definitely are important. Obviously, every game is important, as we realized last year. But definitely this Phillies series is important. My underdog fantasy pick today, I'm going to go Michael King lower, half first inning, runs allowed. Again, I'm hoping for a bounce back. And he could have a great first inning and then end up, kind of crap in the bed after that. But that's what I got today. There's obviously a bunch of NBA playoff games and other Major League Baseball action that you can place picks on, along with this Padres Phillies game with Underdog Fantasy. Click the link in the description. Use code Talking Friars for that. I'll be at the game today, so hopefully I'll see some people out there. But yeah, give your thoughts on the lineup change. Xander Bogaerts no longer leading off. We'll see if maybe he goes right back to leading off. And this was a one-time thing. But what is notable about this is, remember, Merrill was leading off that Dodger game, but Bogaerts wasn't in the lineup. Then when Bogaerts came back, he went right back to leading off, and Merrill went back down in the order. So this is, I believe, the first game. I could be wrong, but I believe this is the first game with Xander not leading off with him in the lineup and not, having a day off. So we'll see. Obviously, the Phillies, they're a good team. So the Padres, they're going to have good at bats. Pitchers hit their spots. Who's going to make more mistakes? Hopefully, it's not the Padres today.